Welcome to Storyflix. In this video, we will explain Single Lady. This movie tells the story of a successful author and media darling who is an icon of singledom. However, a fortune teller's warning of dire consequences resulting from unresolved issues with former lovers forces her to revisit and re-examine her 5 past relationships and calls her renunciation of romance into question. Will the journey of repairing relationships with people in the past bring happiness to her? Let's find out in Single Lady. Single Lady begins by showing a woman named Bright who is a fairly successful career woman and also a famous writer. Bright soon became an icon of single women who still feel happy and achieve success even though they don't have a partner through her best-selling book. Bright also doesn't believe in true love and thinks it's bullshit. One day, Bright attends a meeting at her company where her boss discusses the reduction in employees that will be carried out because their company will invest and require large amounts of funds. Hearing this, the company employees suddenly felt anxious for fear of being fired. However, Bright confidently assumes that she will not be fired because she has a fairly important position in the company. The scene then switches and shows Bright attending her best friend's wedding, where she meets a man named Kem. Kem told Bright that he had previously lived abroad and had purposely returned to Thailand to attend the wedding. Bright then joined the invited guests when the bride threw flowers. Unexpectedly, it turned out that Bright got the flowers. Whoever gets flowers from the bride can be predicted by a fortune teller famous for his predictions often come true. The fortune teller said that Bright would find it difficult to find a mate and would have bad luck because she had hurt her ex-boyfriends and cursed her in the past. The fortune teller then suggests that Bright apologize and mend her relationship with her ex-boyfriends, otherwise, it is feared that she will not find happiness for the rest of her life. Kem, who was there, apparently also heard the prophecy. Although at first Bright did not believe the prediction, but sure enough, not long after that, she began to experience various misfortunes, including being fired from the company where she worked. Because of this, Bright seemed unfocused during an interview session about her book and was criticized by those who were interviewing her. While Bright is taking a walk to cool off, she accidentally meets Kem again. Bright tells what she has just experienced, and Kem even mentions the prophecy some time ago and advises her to follow the fortune teller's advice so that she can get her happiness back. Bright finally decides to follow the fortune teller's advice and begins to mend her relationship with her ex-boyfriends. She begins her journey to a small town where she lived as a child and befriends Bo. Bright and Bo's relationship at that time was very close, and Bo looked very sad and disappointed when Bright finally moved from the city and left him. Bright then went to a grocery store where the kind lady who used to give her sweets used to be. The woman is overjoyed when she meets Bright and tells her that now Bo has become arrogant because he inherited an inheritance from his late grandmother. Bright is finally reunited with Bo, and through flashback it is revealed that Bright had once helped Bo when he was being bullied. Since then, they have become close friends and are always seen together until Bright has to move from the city one day. Before leaving, Bright gave something to Bo as a keepsake and promised him that she would come back and see him one day. Bo is looking forward to Bright's return, but Bright hasn't returned until now. Bo, who thinks that Bright is back to have a romantic relationship with him, then invites her to dinner. After dinner, Bo is about to take Bright back to the inn. But in the middle of the trip, Bo reasoned that his motorbike broke down and they stopped at a quiet place. It turns out that Bo intends to overpower Bright in that place. But Bright managed to put up a fight and immediately fled from there. The scene then switches and shows the atmosphere in a nightclub where Bright's ex-girlfriend, Nat, is entertaining customers on stage. Nat and Bright had a boarding relationship while in high school. After learning a dark secret about her, Nat feels disappointed in Bright and ends their relationship. After that, it was discovered that Nat was traumatized by having a love affair with a woman and chose to be gay. After that, Bright meets his ex-boyfriend named Alan, an amateur singer who often entertains customers at a cafe. Now, Alan owns a bar and reduces his activities as a singer because he is busy managing the bar. When Bright entered Alan's bar, she accidentally saw him fighting with his daughter, Ellie. Alan later told Bright that he and Ellie's mother had divorced when Ellie was little. Apparently the cause of Bright and Alan's breakup was because Alan accidentally got a woman pregnant while drunk, which was none other than Ellie's mother. Having to undergo a forced marriage, Alan feels unhappy and becomes close to his daughter. Therefore, Ellie always assumed that her father never loved her and was only forced to raise her to the extent of his responsibility as a father. Alan and Ellie also often quarrel. One night, when Bright and Kem were having dinner with their friends, one of them suggested that Kem accompany Bright during her trip to repair relations with her former boyfriends. Their friend secretly intends to match the two of them. Although Bright and Kem initially refused, but after their friend continued to persuade and convince both of them, Kem and Bright finally agreed to the idea. Next, Bright met his ex-boyfriend named David. David is a playboy who often changes girlfriends. Seeing David, Bright even wanted to avenge his actions for betraying her. It is known that David is currently in a romantic relationship with a beautiful woman named Karen. Bright then met his ex-boyfriend named Leo. Leo is a kind-hearted man from a prominent family. Even though Bright and Leo used to love each other, their relationship had to end because Leo's family opposed their relationship, especially his grandmother, the matriarch of the family, who demanded that Leo marry a woman of Chinese descent. It is known that Leo is currently dating a woman named Camilla. One day, Bo got into an argument with the residents who rented the land and house to the man, in which he apparently continued to inflate the rent even though their income alone was not sufficient for their daily needs. The protesting citizens then attacked Bo and almost beat him if Bright had not rushed over and calmed everyone down. However, Bo, who saw Bright, pushed her away because Bo was already disappointed in her. Bo then said he would evict the residents who rented the land and houses to him. In the evening, Bright tells Kem about her past with Bo. After that, she asked the residents to remain calm and gave her some time to persuade Bo not to kick them out. Bright then meets Bo while giving him an object similar to the memento she once gave to him. Seeing her, Bo felt touched and they walked around the city reminiscing about their childhood. Bright tells Bo that he had promised her to make the small town a prosperous city in the past so that everyone who lived there would be happy. Bright then pleaded with Bo not to evict the residents and sell his land. Bo replies that he will consider the matter and thanks Bright for reminding him of his promise and accompanying him on a walk. After that, Bright meets Nat and manages to persuade him to do hypnotherapy, where it is revealed that Nat feels hurt and disappointed in Bright because she was forced to date him just because she accepted a challenge from her friend. From then on, Nat hated Bright. Hearing this, Bright apologized to Nat and tried to explain everything. Bright then called Leo, who told her that his grandmother would be holding a meeting with the family of the woman he was going to set up with. Hearing this, Bright then went to Leo's grandmother and told her that Leo now has a girlfriend while showing a video recording where Leo looks so happy when he is with Camilla. Seeing the video, Leo's grandmother said that she had never seen her grandson so happy with a woman. The old woman also seemed moved to see Leo and Camilla's happiness. Long story short, when the two families met, Leo dared to oppose the matchmaking in front of everyone. The bride's family looked very angry and cursed Leo and his family before finally leaving. After that, Leo introduced Camilla in front of everyone and expressed his desire to marry Camilla. Thanks to Bright, Leo's grandmother, who previously knew about Leo and Camilla's relationship, then allowed Leo to marry Camilla. Leo then proposes to Camilla in front of his family, which she accepts. Bright then asks his friend to seduce David, where she intends to reveal David's playboy side and show it to Karen. Sure enough, after seeing David dancing passionately with Bright's friend, Karen immediately felt jealous and angry at David, then left him. The next day, while on the ship, David tries to explain to Karen about the misunderstanding last night and intends to propose to Karen. Seeing the seriousness of David, Bright then melted and told Karen that last night was the plan. Karen immediately felt angry at Bright and the two got into an argument, causing them to almost fall. Luckily, David and Kem swiftly helped them, although the two men fell in the end. Once again, David tried to propose to Karen and finally the woman melted and accepted David's proposal to marry him. Bright and Kem then engage in a conversation where Kem appreciates Bright's efforts to improve relations with her ex-boyfriends and help them find happiness. Bright then asked about Kem's life and also his work. Kem didn't tell Bright that he would be moving overseas anytime soon, as he didn't want to make her sad that they had to part. Bright received word from Bo not long after that, who apparently decided not to sell his land and inflated the rent. Now, Bo is even volunteering to help the economy of the city's residents to realize his dream of making the city a prosperous town. Bright and Kem then meet Alan, who turns out to be panicking and confused because he can't find Ellie anywhere. Bright then took the initiative to help him gather Ellie's friends and ask them about Ellie. They tell them that Ellie might be having a party at the house of a young man who became her crush. After knowing the address of the young man's house, Alan rushed there and finally met his daughter. Ellie, who saw her father's arrival, suddenly felt annoyed and vented all the anxiety she felt on her father, where she always thought that her father only brought her up by force. Alan immediately hugged his daughter and said that all this time he really loved Ellie and considered her the most important thing in his life. Alan then confessed to Ellie that he was afraid that he would not be a good father to her and let her down. Alan then promised to spend more time with Ellie, and the two finally made up, thanks to Bright. Once again, Bright manages to repair her relationship with his ex-boyfriends and help them find happiness. Alan then sings a song for Bright as an expression of gratitude because she has helped him understand Ellie and make up with his beloved daughter. Kem then went on stage and sang along with Alan while expressing his feelings for Bright, making her tear up and cry with joy. After that, Bright slowly regained her luck, where the company she worked for suddenly contacted her and asked her to return to work. Bright soon got a promotion with a much bigger salary. But her boss asked her to work in a subsidiary located in the United States for 2 full years. While having lunch with Kem, Bright told him about the promotion and said that her office in the United States was not too far from where Kem worked. But Kem finally informed Bright that he would be moving to China soon. Immediately Bright felt sad and hopeless. Kem later revealed that they were actually high school friends and said he had been in love with Bright ever since. Kem, who has a photography hobby, has taken several photos of Bright having fun with her friends, where Kem really likes Bright's face, who is always smiling happily. Kem once tried to comfort a sad Bright by sending a photo of the woman smiling happily. When Kem finally reunites with Bright, when he returns to Thailand to attend their friend's wedding, Kem tries to express his feelings for Bright. Hearing this, Bright then felt surprised because it turns out that Kem had liked her for a long time, but she was still unsure of her own feelings and then left Kem. While at home, Bright unpacks her things and finds old photos from when she was still dating his ex-boyfriends. Now, they have their respective partners and get their happiness. Bright then reminisces about her time together with Kem and realizes that she fell in love with the man and felt happy when she was with Kem. Bright told everyone that she now believed in true love at the launch of her new book. After that, she intends to catch Kem at the airport and confess her feelings to him. Unexpectedly, Kem had also been waiting for Bright and decided to stay behind so he could be with her. On the other hand, Bright then resigns from her job to be with Kem, and the film ends. The moral of this film is that if we give happiness to others with all our hearts, we will get double happiness. Therefore, keep doing good and making others happy, even if only with a sincere smile from the heart.